Hey everyone, welcome to Spartan V. Today I'm going to be talking about mental health and hair systems. So I've run through some of this in the past. I want to go into a bit more detail about it, how I've been affected by mental health, how I've changed, and some of those bits in between, just so you can sort of relate to your situation and see if there is anything that you might be able to gauge from this, and which might be able to help improve things or learn from it, one of those ways. But just before I get into any detail, today's video is sponsored by Lavivid. As always, if you want 15% off, use the code SAM15. So let's get started. So, mental health. Can a hair system cure it? No. So what it can do, this is really down to you, the type of mental health you suffer from, and if it is something that affects you directly in regards to body image, this could help massively. If you have anxiety, depression, it might not directly help those, but for me, it has really helped me on the journey when it comes to that part and my own self-improvement. Let me explain. So, as I said before, going back years ago, I suffered very heavily from depression. That was a mess for me many a time through many of the years. I would be, as you say, a bit like how you'd expect to see some of those comedians on TV, where I see everyone, I'd be laughing, joking, having a good laugh, and then when I don't see them, I could be down, just feeling really, really bad about myself, to the point, where you do think about ending it, and you really have to consider those points in your life to be crucial. So, I've suffered with that for many years. The depression, it did start to go, quite a few years ago. I followed a few techniques that seemed to work for me, and, that started improving. But something that really stuck with me was anxiety. So to some people, they might be thinking, anxiety isn't much from mental health. Everyone has anxiety. It is, to the point where you might even think someone you love, like your child, might have a cold, but you might think it's something 100 times worse. So your whole day, your heart is going boop, 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 and you are panicking, you're fearing, and then, that starts making things go off in your mind. So the level of anxiety can determine how bad the mental health is. When it's something you can suffer from every day, where you struggle to get to sleep, you wake up, you have about 30 seconds where you feel fine, and then it starts creeping in, and you are just living in a sort of this dystopian of panic and fear. It's just, it's not nice. So I used to take medication for it, and it became, a very big part of my life, and I would always fight it and be like, I wish I didn't have this, and can't you just go away? So as time went on, I got to a point where part of that anxiety came down to my body image as well. So I look at myself, I was at a stage where I was really unhealthy, I'd got overweight, and I couldn't even take a picture of myself. And I knew I wanted a hair system again. I knew I wanted to bring myself back to this journey of having a hair system. So what I started doing beforehand initially, I started exercising, I lost a bit of weight, done a bit of healthy eating. So when I first got my hair system, I felt like it was gonna complete me a bit more. So as per, you see my first introduction video, I'm all over the place and blah, 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 blah. But what that did once I had that triggered a thing in my mind. I was like, hey, I quite looking in the mirror at myself now, which is, a rare thing back then for me. And I carried on that journey. I didn't really think too much about the anxiety, because I would go up and down in it. But as time went on, I started to slip a bit again, and I put some weight back on, and I was in this mindset that I didn't think I could come out of. So what did I do to come out of it and get to that point? Well, what I done was I focused on myself. I really was like, I've got to self-improve. I've got to look at those areas that I'm failing at and see if there's quick wins or improvements, if there's ways that I can turn that around. So you know, again, this is a journey, so you don't need to, you know, try and win a race. You need to take your time with these things. So to get rid of that anxiety from myself, you know, I've got to start making myself feel better, because I was feeling a bit low, a bit down, and, you know, worried about things. You know, it's like an avalanche, you know, it just keeps on tumbling and tumbling until you get to a point where you realize there's an acceptance part to this. So there's a certain technique that I use that worked really well for me. Sort of it goes in with everything I've been doing, and that was just accepting the anxiety. So you might be saying, oh, you know, you've accepted anxiety, how's the hair system work with this? Well, part of it was my confidence. My confidence started going up when I got my hair system, and that, you know, took away some of that mental health about, you know, my whole body image that I had, about looking at myself and liking what I see. And, you know, I just done these small little changes and I felt stronger. You know, I was starting to feel good. I had the anxiety there. So where I got some of those areas sorted and done, then I was like, right, I want to, you know, sort out this anxiety. So there are many books and everything like that, which I will tell you in future, you know, if it is something you suffer from, what to read, because there is one specific one, but I'm not going to go through it today. But it is all about the acceptance of anxiety, and it was an incredible read, and it was part of what, you know, helped me, and the rest of the part was my mindset on how I thought, you know. And when I got to the point where my anxiety just went from up here all the way to down here, I was like, right, keep on improving, keep on making yourself better, make yourself feel as good as you can be. So I've been on that journey over a long period of time, and then I thought back as well, and I was like, okay, what have I done to, you know, improve my life? And I look back and I was like, wow, I've actually done quite a lot and I haven't realized it. So this is what about, you know, living life is about. Accepting sort of what has happened in your past, and look back in your past, even if it's bad, but, you know, if you get that acceptance, then, you know, you can move forward properly. So, you know, in my past, I was like, right, when I started a certain job, I was like, right, my goal is to get this amount of money or learn this new skill. So I'm quite heavily dyslexic. I have a problem understanding words to a degree, which is why some of my words I might say to you come out rubbish. But back then, I had a problem, like, you know, really understanding certain words. So I had to learn new techniques to improve myself. So the best way for me to do it is do repetition on whatever I wanted to learn over and over and over again, until I was at that point, I was like, right, I've got this. But, you know, I've got to continue that repetition because I can still forget it easily. So, you know, I got to a point where in a job I loved and where I'm happy, I've got the things I want in life. I'm not talking about material, I'm talking about health. And, you know, it's a long journey to sort of get there, but the hair was a massive, massive part of that for me. It really boosted my confidence. So you got the reverse avalanche, you know, things are going downhill, it's an extra climbing a mountain, but then you'll find as you're climbing a mountain, it's really, really hard, it will suddenly improve, because if you improve certain points in your life and you look back and just like, right, okay, I've improved this now, I've improved that, I've improved this, well, what can I do next? So it's finding those ways to have, you know, the confidence in yourself to do it. You need to motivate yourself, you need to get your blood going. So for me, the hair system was a big part of that journey. And like I say, I did suffer pretty badly with mental health issues, but I'm sitting here today, I feel really, really good. I feel lucky to experience this life. I feel lucky to speak to everyone who watches, and, you know, I just love how I can constantly try and self-improve. That is the big thing. And this leads me on to a bit of an announcement. So I'm going to go into the detail next week, but I am going to be expanding Spartan V to a self-improvement channel. So I'm still going to be doing my hair systems every week, still those videos, and I might even be getting other people in who will be joining in on part of these videos, but I'm going to be expanding it out onto self-improvement areas as well. So like I say, hair system is just one part of the journey for me. I want to be able to help you move on with your journey. So whether that's, you know, part of your mental health, it's, you know, building up your own confidence and moving on from all those areas. But like I say, I'll announce more details next week about it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Thank you for watching. Much love. Spartan V out.